Now remember, if anyone has read ahead or as you're listening today, please be sure to jot down any questions, put them in chat, let me know you've got one so we can pass our questions on to Geshe. Hi, Venerable Kelsong. Hi, Julie and Karen. Giovanna, Joanna.
Good evening.
Hi, Bodhi.
Good evening. Oh, there's Bodhi.
There's Bodhi.
Hello, baby.
He wants his toy. Sorry, goodbye.
Hi, Elise and David. Looking good?
Yeah, we're doing good. How are you?
I'm great.
Good.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to start this evening by setting a motivation for doing this preliminary practice today. So by following the suggestion and instructions by our teacher Geshe, may he and Geshe Sampo have long, healthy, happy lives. May all their Dharma wishes be fulfilled. And may all of their obstacles be completely eradicated. For world peace, for everyone on the prayer list, so that all sentient beings may have every happiness and every joy and live with harmony, mutual cooperation, compassion, great compassion, bodhicitta, and may realize emptiness in and out of meditative equipoise. And may all sentient beings be from every problem, complication, pain, and suffering. May the environment transform into a pure land with wish-fulfilling jewels and wish-fulfilling trees. And may we liberate ourselves from samsara for good. And when we pass away from this life, may we be born on a lotus with qualities complete, become a vessel for the transmission of teachings of that Buddha in that Buddha field, causing them great delight. May all sentient beings remain in the pure lands, the Buddha fields, until they attain their own Buddhahood. Now I'd like to share the screen for the opening prayers. So we'll say this first stanza 3 times. Guru, teacher, Bhagavan, Tathagata, Arhat, perfectly complete Buddha, perfect knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of beings to be subdued, teacher of gods and humans, to you, Buddha Bhagavan, glorious conqueror Shakyamuni, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. Guru, teacher, Bhagavan, Tathagata, Arhat, perfectly complete Buddha, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of beings to be subdued, teacher of gods and humans, to you, Buddha Bhagawan, glorious conqueror Shakyamuni, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. Guru, teacher, Bhagavan, Tathagata, Arhat, perfectly complete Buddha, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of beings to be subdued, teacher of gods and humans. To you, Buddha Bhagawan, glorious conqueror Shakyamuni, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. Once supreme amongst humans, you were born on this earth. You paced out 7 strides and said, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise then, I prostrate. With pure bodies formed supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best savior, to you I prostrate. With the supreme signs, face like spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust free like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the teacher having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you the one gone to thusness, I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the dharma that pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are liberated and who also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you, the sublime community intending virtue, I prostrate. Do not commit any unwholesome actions. Engage in perfect, wholesome actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a defective view, a butter lamp flame, an illusion, a dewdrop, a water bubble, a dream, lightning, a cloud. See all causative phenomena like this. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the foe of faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. Okay, now we'll skip the Art Perfection of Wisdom Sutra and go to prayer to the lying-faced Dakini. From the holy supreme realm of Kechara, you possess powers of clairvoyance and magical emanation. Look after practitioners without distraction, as you would a child. To the host of Dakinis of the 3 abodes, I prostrate. Akasamacha Raja Sada Rasa Marape, Akasama Raja Shad Rasa Mariape, Akasama Raja Shada Rasa Mariape, Akasama Raja Shada Rasa. Akasama Raja Shada Rasa 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 Maria Akasama Raja Shada Rasa Akasama Raja Shada Rasa Maraya Pe. Teata Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Soha. By the teachings of the noble 3 rare sublime ones possessing the power of truth, may hindrances be averted, may they be eliminated, may they be pacified. May all enemies and negative forces opposed to Dharma be completely pacified. Shantim Kuru Soha. May the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified. May we be free from harmful conditions to Dharma. May all excellence be in accord with the Dharma, and may there be auspiciousness and perfect happiness here, right now. From the heart of the Savior of the 100 deities of Tushita, on the peak of a cloud resembling a clump of extremely fresh, white fresh curd, King of Dharma, Mushino Sangdrapa, please come here together with your sons. In the sky before me on a lion-throned lotus and moon, my perfect pure Guru smiles with delight. Supreme field of merit for my mind of faith, please abide for 100 eons to spread the teachings. Your holy mind has the intelligence that understands the full extent of objects to be known. Your holy speech with its excellent explanations is an ear ornament for those of good fortune. Your holy body is radiantly beautiful with glory renowned. To you who are meaningful to see, hear, and remember, I prostrate. Pleasing drinking water, various flowers, fragrant incenses, light-scented waters, and so forth. Oceans of cloud-light offerings, both actually arranged and mentally emanated, I offer to you the supreme field of merit. Whatever non-virtue of body, speech, and mind, especially those opposite to the 3 vows that I have collected from beginningless time, I confess each and every one with fervent regret from my heart. You strove for much learning and practice in this degenerate age, and made your freedoms and richnesses meaningful by abandoning the 8 worldly concerns. Savior, we sincerely rejoice in your extensive deeds. Perfect, pure, holy gurus from the billowing clouds of wisdom, compassion in the sky of the Dharmakaya, please let fall a rain of profound and extensive dharma upon the receptacle of those to be subdued exactly as they need. May the Vajra body of Tsongkhapa, created from the purity of clear light, free of the rising and setting of cyclic existence, be visible to the ordinary viewer only in its unsubtle physical form, stay on unchanging without waning until samsara ends. May whatever virtue I've collected benefit the teachings in all transmigrator beings, and in particular, may it cause the essence of perfect pure Losangdrapa's teachings to shine forever. Rajadhara, Lord of Sages, source of all realizations, Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-objectifying compassion, Manjushri, master of stainless wisdom, Lord of secrets, destroyer of the entire host of Maras, Losangdrapa, crown ornament of the sages of the land of snow, to you, Guru Buddha, embodying the 3 refuges, I make request respectfully with my 3 doors. Please bless me and others to be ripened and liberated. Please bestow the supreme and common realizations. Vajradhara, Lord of Sages, source of all realizations, Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-objectifying compassion, Manjushri, master of stainless wisdom, Lord of secrets, destroyer of the entire host of Maras, Losangdrapa, crown ornament of the sages of the land of snow, to you, Guru Buddha, embodying the 3 refuges, I make request respectfully with my 3 doors. Please bless me and others to be ripened and liberated. Please bestow the supreme and common realizations. Vajradhara, Lord of Sages, source of all realizations, Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-objectifying compassion, Manjushri, master of stainless wisdom, Lord of secrets, destroyer of the entire host of Maras, Losangdrapa, crown ornament of the sages of the land of snow, to you, Guru Buddha, embodying the 3 refuges, I make request respectfully with my 3 doors. Please bless me and others to be ripened and liberated. Please bestow the supreme and common realizations. Magnificent and precious root Guru, please abide on the lotus seat at my heart. Guide me with your great kindness and grant me the realizations of your holy body, speech, and mind. Magnificent and precious root Guru, please abide on the lotus seat at my heart. Guide me with your great kindness and grant me the supreme and common realizations. Magnificent and precious root Guru, please abide on the lotus seat at my heart. Guide me with your great kindness and remain steadfast until I attain the essence of enlightenment. By the force of the victorious one Losang, Lama Tsongkhapa, acting as our direct Mahayana virtuous friend in all our lives, may we never turn aside even for a second from the pure path highly admired by the victorious ones. Okay, and now the short mandal offering. This ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned Mount Meru, 4 continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this is the Buddha field and offer it. May all living beings enjoy this pure land. O holy and perfect pure Lama, from the clouds of compassion that form in the skies of your Dharmakaya wisdom, please release a rain of vast and profound dharma, precisely in accordance with the needs of those to be trained. Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niryatayami. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened, to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly, By the merits I create through listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merits I create through listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merits I create through listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. Okay, so now we are going to turn to the essence of the vast and profound where we left off. It's on the first full paragraph on page 34 in the hardbound book. I believe it's on page 46 in the PDF file.
And page 40 in the Kindle.
And page 40 in the Kindle. Thank you. With respect to this Lamrim being the oral instructions on a moment of clear realization, although in general you must practice something like the generation of the mind of enlightenment at the conclusion of relying upon a preliminary oral instruction, the ornament states generating bodhicitta in the oral instruction, which states just the opposite. Regarding this, during the Lamrim, teachings on bodhicitta are given during the preliminary discourse. Bodhicitta is developed during the preliminary rituals as well. In particular, bodhicitta comes later during the actual teachings on the Lamrim itself. The instructions for the beings of small and middling scope are not autonomous, but have a way of transforming into the limbs of the discourse on the Mahayana. Moreover, the ornament states, faithfully visualize the Buddha and so forth. Therefore, faith in the teachings on the Guru, the Buddha, cause and effect, the Four Noble Truths, the path of the three higher trainings, and so on, is common to the small and middling scopes. It then states, recall the most excellent intention, which is bodhicitta. It continues, sincerely apply yourself to the sphere of activity, such as generosity, which is training in the general activities of a bodhisattva, and to complete non-conceptual concentration in the five aspects of wisdom, understanding all aspects of phenomena, which separately reveals the way to train in the final two perfections. Therefore, this is taught for the sake of the abridged wisdom, from either analytical or placement in meditation on all the good qualities of the Mahayana and the actual wisdom, which is the principal way of progressing along the path unifying tranquil abiding and superior seeing. In short, this is the means of teaching the general scope of the Mahayana through skill in the five objects, such as faith and so forth. Subsequent disciples had increasingly dull faculties, so Atisha, Tsongkhapa, and others composed very clear explanations through their texts, such as the Lamp for the Path, the Great and Middle Length, treatises on the stages of the path to enlightenment, the Swift Path, the Fifth Dalai Lama, Ngawan Losang Gyatso's Manjushi's oral instructions, and so on. Atisha J combined in a single string the lineages of the vast and profound. If you develop a good understanding of this text, you will be able to understand the stages of the path with respect to the scriptures and their commentaries. Other than that, the teachings are called the vast stages of the path or the profound stages of the path, depending on whether it is the vast or the profound that are primarily being taught. However, it is not that the vast and the profound are separate and don't each contain instructions on both the profound and vast. The ornament of clear realization states, quote, there is nothing whatsoever that should be removed. There is not the slightest bit that should be added, unquote. For teaching on the profound stages of the path, Nagarjuna's root text on wisdom states, quote, speech and physical actions, unobservable, unabandoned actions, and unobservable, abandoned actions, as well as others are similarly asserted. Merit and non-merit derived from enjoyment, as well as intention, are maintained to be similar phenomena. These are asserted to be the 7 types of action, unquote. This teaches 10 paths of action together with their results and belongs to the vast path. The statement by Tsongkhapa that the conqueror of that is also the composer of this indicates that the composer of all the stages of the path is Atisha Dipankara. We find a similar statement in the swift path. The translation equivalent of Dipankara is producing light, while Atisha means exquisite. The fact that this type of Lamrim spread far and wide here in Tibet is due to the kindness of Atisha coming to Tibet. Since he is the teacher of every Lamrim, it is the tradition to begin by teaching Atisha's biography, which contains 3 sections. The life of Atisha has 3 sections. 1. How he took rebirth in an excellent lineage. 2. How he practiced and attained good qualities of realization through proper practice. 3. How he worked on behalf of the teachings. How he took rebirth in an excellent lineage. Regarding the country of Atisha's birth, Nagzo Lotsawa Tsultrim Gyatsos 1101-, 80 verses of praise states, in the excellent country of Bengal. His family was from Zahor and their country was Bengal, which these days is called Kalakata. Regarding Vikrama, this means that the city in the aspect of steppes was extremely powerful and prosperous. The name Tolkun was mostly used by previous lamas. However, Chankya Ropé Dorje, 1717 to 1786, said it was because the Tibetan lamas didn't know Sanskrit. It is said that the king of the East called it Tongku. As soon as Atisha was born, he had compassion for all, as is extensively taught in his biography. Once Atisha the Great was born and reached 18 months of age, he held the teachings on going for refuge and generating bodhicitta as being of extraordinarily great importance, and he attained good qualities and dependence upon those too. He attained good qualities of scripture through his abundant knowledge of the first of those 2 methods. Afterward, upon reaching the age of 15, he read the drop of reasoning once, and afterward was able to defeat the most skilled logicians. The drop of reasoning is one of Glorious Dharmakirti's teachings and is referred to as the drop of reasoning among the 7 texts on valid cognition. His parents had already picked out a princess for him by the time he was 10, at which point Tara encouraged him to practice the Dharma by proclaiming, "Sole divinity, fortunate one, do not be attached, do not be attached." The first, "do not be attached," refers to this life, and the second one refers to the swamp of samsara. Take an elephant, for example. They have massive bodies, so if a large elephant falls in the swamp, it is much more difficult to remove than other types of living beings stuck in the mud, such as horses, goats, and so forth. Likewise, if the holy beings succumb to impure views and tenets, it damages the teachings and beings of that entire country. The same thing applies to this day and age. If a single lama has noble views and tenets, the country where he lives also becomes pure with Dharma teachings. Just as Tara exhorted Atisha, so those of us who are teachers should also learn the exhortation entreated by the gods of pure abodes from the extensive Sport Sutra and others. Atisha's father had great hopes that he would assume the kingdom. As for Atisha, he had no other intention than to leave behind the kingdom and practice dharma. He grabbed a few belongings and headed off to the mountains in search of a guru. He relied properly upon Bodhibhadra, Rahula Gupta, Avadutipa, and others. His parents tried to postpone his entering the dharma, but Atisha told them that his only intention was to practice the dharma, and if they handed him over to the dharma in the future, they would continue to meet life after life. When Atisha had the thought that he should remain single-pointedly within the nature of mind through the practices of the central channel, Guru Rahula Gupta passed without obstruction through a wall and admonished him to become an ordained monk. Guru also admonished him, saying, "Son of the lineage, you absolutely must not leave to engage in the practices of the central channel. You must ordain. If you ordain now in the future, many disciples will follow your example by ordaining." One night during a dream, the teacher Shakyamuni was at the head of many monks seated in a row and having lunch. When he reached the end of the row, he came across Atisha. Once the teacher saw Atisha, he wept and asked, "Why have you not ordained?" In this way, he admonished him to ordain. Under the abbot Shila Rakshita, whose name means guarding moral discipline, it is said that Atisha attained the first section of the path of preparation. There are many ways people explain this, such as the realization of selflessness of persons, the realization of selflessness of phenomena, and so on. However, this refers to the patient stage of the path of preparation. Furthermore, in the Mahayana, there are 4 sequential stages: 1, heat; 2, peak; 3, forbearance; and 4, supreme dharma. Atisha had the concentration of obtaining visions, multiplying, and simultaneously remaining absorbed in suchness, as well as the immediately preceding concentration. The 7th Supreme Conqueror, that is the 7th Dalai Lama, Kelsang Gyatso, 1708 to 1757, explains it this way. The reason that it is called simultaneously absorbed in suchness is because in general, there is a distinction between the apprehended and the apprehender. and by being thoroughly apprehended, there is a thorough distinction made on all sides between the side of the afflicted and the side of the complete purity. The conception apprehending the afflicted is the heat section of the path of preparation. The conception apprehending the complete purity is the peak section of the path of preparation. Once you have diminished this disparity, you attain the patience action of the path of preparation. The realization of those two conceptions is not generated in way similar to other ordinary beings. Therefore, at that time, apprehended appearances cease. Because you are incapable of at least diminishing that conceptual grasping, it is called simultaneously absorbed in suchness. This is the distinction between Madhyamaka and mind only, and is very difficult to understand. Under Dharmakarishita, whose name means protector of the holy Dharma, Atisha gained knowledge of the entire treasury of explanation, and without any partiality was honored by all the scholars in all the 18 classes of scriptures as their crown ornament. Not only that, but there were 500 great scholars skilled in this teaching. Therefore, Atisha became like the crown ornament of all the pandits and scholars from a great distance, whereby he was called the crown ornament of 500. How he practiced and attained good qualities of realization through proper practice. This explains how Atisha attained good qualities of realization through proper practice and understood the necessity of generating the teachings of scripture and realization to attain good qualities of realization. Although these days the good qualities of realization are clairvoyance, magical powers, and so forth, such things also exist within non-Buddhist schools, the Bonpo and so forth. Just as a certain Bonpo named Naro Bonchu held a contest of miraculous powers with Jetsun Milarepa, so a heretic robbed Sapam, and the two playfully debated. And when the heretic was defeated, he held a competition of miraculous powers. When the heretic began his display of miraculous power, Sapan enlisted the assistance of Siddha Dachawa, and in this way was able to defeat the heretic. Sapan is a contraction of Sakya Pandita. Our teacher said as well, ordinary beings place their hopes in clairvoyance and miraculous powers. And also the two activities of the ordained are 1, reading, listening, and contemplating, and 2, being a renunciant. We think I don't have realization in my mind unless I generate a realization of clairvoyance and miraculous powers. However, this is not correct. Having the precepts and vows of a novice and a fully ordained monk in your mental continuum is a realization. This is also the teaching of the Buddha. Atisha was able to remain utterly unsoiled by any downfalls of the pratimoksha. He was only defiled by the most minor infractions of the Bodhisattva precepts and a few scattered infractions of the secret mantra commitments. He didn't maintain his affiliation with these faults for even a day, but would confess them. Therefore, in this way, his actions were pure. There are many who appeared and admonished him, stating that if he wished for swift enlightenment, he should train in bodhicitta. A gilded statue spoke to him saying, "Hey, Bandata," which is similar to saying, "Hey, you monk." In Sanskrit, the term Zoki means yogi. Previously, Atisha had already listened to the instructions on bodhicitta in the presence of Dharmarakshita, who cut off pieces of his own body to benefit a sick person. Atisha also received teachings from Kusali the Younger, or as he is also known, Guru Maitri Yogi, who, when another person struck a dog with a club, cried out, "Ana," and covered himself as the dog was being struck. In that exact same spot where the dog was struck, Maitri Yogi's own body swelled up due to the power of actually exchanging self with others. In his presence, Atisha repeatedly accomplished giving birth to bodhicitta in his mental continuum by listening to the melodious Vajra song of singing meditation. However, when he investigated the root of the instructions for training in bodhicitta, his mind was still not satisfied. What he did after learning that Serlingpa was the sovereign lord and protector of bodhicitta, he declared in a verse that states, "I supplicate glorious Atisha, who worked to benefit all beings by receiving the medicinal nectar of bodhicitta from the protector of the world, King Serlingpa." Then he traveled for 13 long months across the ocean, arrived at the Golden Isle. That's present-day Sumatra. Obstructed winds and lightning were naturally pacified by Atisha, and after 13 months in this way, he arrived at his destination. Throughout the entire voyage, up until he arrived, he never left the attire and signs of those ordained to climb. This is not like those of us who put on the attire of a householder the moment he stepped beyond the boundary of the monastery. In general, even just the external attire is extremely important. Even a single ordained person who doesn't allow the attire indicating they are ordained to deteriorate by not wearing the monastic robes is beneficial to the teachings of the Buddha. Kyodruk declared, the pair of saffron-colored robes beautify the body of the ordained. The conduct of a monk wearing the attire of a householder destroys the teachings. Do not belittle even the mere symbols of a monk's garments. Instead, we should have respect for them. Also, the monastic community should have great regard for their own robes, even when it comes to something like finding lodging. Also, once you feel it is acceptable to wear fine clothing, your mind will become like a silver ink pot. You should not be like wrapping dog feces and pig manure in fine silks. Previously, Lama Losang Sherp told Dorje Chan Losang Jinpa that although it is permissible to wear a shirt with sleeves, he shouldn't do so. As already mentioned, because the great Atisha kept pure moral discipline of the 3 sets of vows, he was endowed with the 3 higher trainings in moral discipline. Although the downfalls of secret mantra poured down upon him like rain, engaged in confession and straight immediately, so he didn't retain them for a single day. Through his manner of possessing the higher training and concentration, while he was in Tibet, he could hear the devotions of his teachers in faraway Magadha, together with sounds of cymbals and their supplications. And he called out to Don Tompa, I hear their request through the power of my auditory clairvoyance. He also said, by my receiving a crown ornament offered by a dining girl in the region of Yorpo Chingru, she has purified her obscurations. That daughter of the lineage has been born as a god in heaven. In accordance with the supplication that states, you are the guide of migrating beings, endowed with the higher training and wisdom, we can understand that he was endowed with the realization of superior seeing of both the common and uncommon traditions of Sutra and Tantra. How he worked on behalf of the teachings has 2 sections. 1, his activities in India. 2, his activities in Tibet. His activities in India, Atisha became the jewel ornament of all scholars and took hold of 18 classes of scripture. In India, it was very risky to debate non-Buddhists because the king and his ministers would come to bear witness. The king would sit for the spectacle, and the side that was defeated would have to submit themselves as well as their belongings to the other side, offering their own religious tradition as a trophy. Although Ashvaghosha was previously a non-Buddhist, he lost a similar debate from Acharya Aryadeva. Likewise, Atisha defeated 13 non-Buddhist pandits. He defeated the non-Buddhists who were ranked by having 13 layers of parasols, 7 layers of parasols, 5 layers of parasols, and so on, which contributed to the spread of the teachings. His activities in Tibet. At first, Atisha didn't come to Tibet. The Dharma had first come to Tibet during the reign of La Dotori Nyensen of the royal heritage and Songtsen Gampo, who worked to establish the Dharma while Shantarakshita Padmasambhava and the king Trison Detsun caused it to be spread.
Geshe Gelek is here, Venerable Lama.
Okay, thank you.
Please have a seat. Good evening.
Good evening, Geshe.
Tom, the mantra looks very good. So did you decide to paint?
I need your help and Geshe Sangpo on that. Right now, it's calling me to be not painted, but I'll paint it any color that you think is appropriate.
I think it looks nice, so like without painting, it looks more like natural.
It feels organic to me. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, organic. So, like in Nepal, some of the holy site in Nepal, so that kind of Tara starts emerging from the rock, it doesn't have any color, but it kind of merged. So Geshe would think probably, painting will be nice, in my opinion. Everyone's opinion. So
I feel like you do. This one doesn't feel like it should be painted. It feels
okay.
right.
Yeah, more like natural.
Thank you.
So
Geshe.
very good Sagadawa there. You crab paramount on the rock. So like they made it multiply 100,000 times. Very good. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good evening, Domasi. Good evening, Venerable Hamula. Good evening, David, Elise, Laura, Julia, Bodhisattva Patrick, Joanna, Susie, Karen, Pandit
Geshe-la.
Jipati, Venerable Kelsang, Govia, David, Venerable Chukila. How are you, Chuki?
I'm fine, Geshe-la, thank you.
Okay, it looks good. Good evening, Helen. Good evening, Neely. How many pages you read today?
9 pages.
Oh, very good. Anything, 9 pages, understood everything? Huh?
I have one question, Geshe-la.
Oh, yeah.
The question is, it sounds like Atisha learned both from actual physical pandits around him and also directly from deities. Is that right? How did he know the deities were authentic Dharma teachers and not just his imagination or other deities like Bon?
Mm. Yeah, as I mentioned before many times, there are three different ways you can interact with the deities. One in frequent dream, seeing the dream frequently. One, you have like visions. Then one, then seeing the best, seeing like face to face like us. Yeah, then other hand, sure, like sometimes things do appear out of imbalance of the energy within the body, or maybe do cause some kind of hallucinations. Actually, it's called Tagnang. Tag means pure, Nang means appearance, pure appearances. That usually happens due to your devotions, the amount of merit that you created, and quality of the practice, then that happens. Sometimes there's pure visions. So sometimes the vision can be obscured by imbalanced energy within the body. So then sometimes due to like obstacles, due to obstacles that they see something which looks like deity or Buddha and actually it's not. So that could also possible. That could possible. In Lama Atisha case, that visions, imaginations, these are all pure. There's no reason. There's like causes by imbalanced energy. That's out of questions. The appearing, the vision that causes by obstacle, that's out of questions. It is not it will not happen to Lama Atisha because Lama Atisha was great practitioners. So there is similarly Lama Tsongkhapa, Lama Atisha was, like all the spiritual activities precisely guided by Tara, Mother Tara. So, there's only two reasons: either imbalanced energy within the body cause some kind of visions or obstacles. So, other than that, so is there the questions? So, Lama Atisha probably.
That sounds like it answers the question, Geshe.
Sounds like.
Well, I didn't ask the question, so I'm only the.
Yeah, so then, you do dream receiving teaching from your Lama. There's something that we don't have to prove. So you had dream, I had dreams. So that dream can be very frequent, not just once a while. Lama do appear in you when you are trying to visualize, in the form of like, you do have mental image of your own lamas, even though they already passed away like 10 years ago or 20 years ago. You are still connected with that, mentally connected. And that connection is very much based on through visualizations, and that one could experience that connection is very much alive, experience that, and still receiving blessings, things like that. That happens. Then, of course, as I said, it's very much depend on devotions. For example, when Lama Tsongkhapa passed away, the Kituru, which the younger, the disciples managed to see the power of his devotion to Lama Tsongkhapa. He managed to see Lama Tsongkhapa in 5 different forms. So now that's why there's like, one of them is like the form of yogi. Usually that's not how Lama Tsongkhapa usually appears. Lama Tsongkhapa always appears as a monk, like fully ordained monks. But Kedurumuji Lama Tsongkhapa, Kedurumuji visions of Lama Tsongkhapa passed away. Kedurumuji was devastated, so then always praying like. So then Lama Tsongkhapa appeared Kedurumuji in 5 different forms. One of them is like yogi, like appearances, like not as a form of monk. So some of them is still around, some of them are still be around. So maybe in the holy side, maybe there's possibilities that if you have enough karma, may I say, able to see them not as like the way it appeared to Kidro Rinpoche, that you need the deeper connections. But I think Jabji Sohor Rinpoche said one of his students, the abbot of Ganden Monastery, so telling Jabji Sohor Rinpoche that he is about to go to pilgrimage. Jabji Sohor Rinpoche says, one, the Lama Tsongkhapa appears as a yogi to Kidro Rinpoche sleeping around. So maybe, when you go to the holy site, do the offer, beggar offer, donations as much as possible. If you manage to put that into that one of that particular appearances, that appearance of Lama Tsongkhapa to Kidro Rinpoche, Jabji Sohor Rinpoche is still been around. how to say, who knows, like once you, of course, once you achieve enlightenment, you can manifest simultaneously thousands of yourself, simultaneously in thousands of different places, and simultaneously thousands of different places and thousands of different manifestations. You can do that. So, so Lama do appear, so deity do appear. So receive instructions, especially the critical point that you're trying to understand, you are not able to understand. So then, yeah, deity or Lama do occur, and maybe could be a dream explaining the specific line that you're trying to understand what it means. Then in the dream, sometime comes to them, then explain to you. So then when you awake, it's kind of surprised, like you remember the dream very clearly, very vividly. You remember exactly where, how it happened. So then, that happens. That happens. So, okay. And then what else?
Okay, I don't have another question yet from today, but last week there was just a request. Would it be possible to learn the meditation of how to be born in Tushita?
Now, what we can do now, we can make strong wish. That's one way to born in Tushita realm. We can make every single day, we can make strong wish. That's the one way to create the cause to be born in Tushita realms. Another way is like to reading about the quality of the Tushita realms, reading about quality of the Tushita realms. Then imagining that you are there, imagining that you are physically there, through mentally imagining you are there and hearing the teachings, and not just hearing the teachings, also like understanding the meaning, what the teachings about. So thinking about the quality of the Tushita realms. Tushita realm is part of the desire realm, as I mentioned. So within the desire realm, there's 6 celestial realms. 6 celestial realms. Number 4, if it's like this, if it's like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not sure. Like probably it's like more like this, level like 1, 2, 3. Probably it goes up. I don't think it goes like that. So number 4, the celestial realm, number 4 within the desire realm. That's the where Tushita is located. There's karmic connections, being in the same realm, desire realm. So all the 1,002 Buddha will be descending from that realms. So it's not in the form realm. Of course, the formless realm you can't really pinpoint. Desire realm you can pinpoint. Formless realm, there's no form. That means there's no shape. They can't really see whenever part of it happens. If you are being born, it's going to be born in a formless realm. It just happened right there. It's not like there's like different realms to go. So within the desire realm, there's 6 different celestial realms. And number 4, and there the Tushita was located. Then probably there's like town, for example, like Raleigh, within that the town. So then a little bit above, that's where Tushita is located where Metteyya Buddha teach. Yeah, Lama Tsongkhapa, and there's Lama Tsongkhapa, form of celestial beings, Lama Atisha, form of celestial beings. So then Lama Marva, form of celestial beings. So you visualize all of them, you know, like you just visualize all of them and not just there in teachings, you know, teachings. And then of course Metteyya Buddha. So then you visualize the realms. What the realm looks like. Oh, there's like very beautiful water, the swimming pool, lake, beautiful lakes, you know, like trees, the bird, and like all of them. You just visualize. So then there's no like any stone or gravel. There's no harmless thing in that realms. Everything's, you know, like. If you can push it, go down. If you let it go, it just comes up. Something like this, not something really solid. So then you visualize that every single day. You just visualize that create the cause to be born in social realms. There's another way. If you are reflecting the quality of the social realm every day, probably based on 100 daily yoga practice, Kandel Hajama. So there's certain place that there's certain section that allows you to visualize quality of Gandhian realms. So that creates a cause to be born into the realm. And not just that, then there's also going to be to become like a part of like power practice, like descending consciousness when you pass away, descending consciousness into the higher realms. So that's serve true purpose. One is create the cause to be born in like Tushita realms, and also like it's also like serve as a power practice too. So then every sound you hear, whether it's from like the sound that's made by bird or the wind that blowing the trees, this is not just ordinary sound. And there's a sound of teachings, and that lands will fill with the fragrance, wonderful order of fragrance. And every sound is teachings about the Panchaparamita. Then visualizing you are there and hearing the teachings, not just that, also understanding the meaning of the teachings. So then you do it a daily basis. So the reflecting or meditating on the quality of the Tushita realms, or maybe structure of the Tushita realms every day. So then in the end, make very strong wish to be born there. Much better than other celestial realm. There might be no teaching there, but Tushita realm, there is teachings all the time. There's a difference between this, between the desire realm, 6 types of celestial realms. Other realm, there's no teachings, but Tushita realms, there's teachings all the time. So there's one way to be born there, so creating the cause. Making strong wish that creating cause. Gande Shinkyu is called like, Shinkyu means like how the structure of the Ganden. That's the Tibetan name is called Ganden. Tushita is the Sanskrit word, Ganden. So trying to read slowly, memorize every day, and think the structure of the Gandhian realms, then imagining being there physically, experiencing all the qualities of that Tushita realm, Gandhian realms, hearing teachings, understanding the teachings, that create the cause to be born. That's how you do it. So if you want to be born, that's how you do it. So Gandel Hajama, there's like, Guru Yoga practice. What's called Chukila, Gandel Haja, 100 Diri.
Yes, Geshe, 100 deities of Tushita.
There's the name of the text the text, if you practice that elaborately, probably take all day long, but it will take all day long. So if you do them in very extensively, it will could take like all day long. But you know, there's you can read. Yeah, after the visualizations of marriage field, then you are supposed to meditate on the quality or structure of the Gandhar realms, the Tushita realms. So right after when you set up the marriage field, so then after that, so then you either read to become familiar with the quality of Gandhar or Tushita realms. You read every day, so then slowly try to remember by heart. So then you know. Of course, this setting up marriage field is all done through visualization. Then after they come to visualization, continue. So then certain section, then you do Lamrim meditation. So then dissolve the marriage field. So then, you know, dedicate the marriage, all of that, you know. So as I said, we are all capable to learn, okay? Can learn, slow. Isn't it? What else?
Okay, Geshe, there's a question from YouTube.
Mm.
What are the benefits of learning about the authors and teachers and their lives?
So there's in statement in Tibetan language, the history or story of the past great master, story or history of the or legacy of the past great master or story of the past great master. For us, it's not just story or history or legacy. For us, it's like instructions for our practice, instructions. Inspire how many months Lama Atisha went by boat, 13 months, to see Lama Selimba. Nowadays, modern time, they say some part of Indonesia where the Lama Selimba was living. Took Lama Atisha for 13 months to sail to that island to see Lama Selimba, to then receiving instructions about how to develop bodhicittas. So probably a lot of hardship. No modern day you could say seasick. Nowadays you have all kind of medicine to help you to not to get seasick. That time probably there's no medicine. But a lot of hardship, Now modern boat, now modern day cruise, you have like your own room, internet, buffet, all of that. That time there's no internet, there's no buffet, there's no telephone. So probably sailboat. Imagine traveling in the sailboat 13 months, not to buy something or to sunbath, simply to receive teachings about how to develop bodhicitta. So for us, that's the source of inspirations. So I could put some effort because if Lama Atisha spent 13 months in the sea, so just to receive, teachings about how to develop bodhicitta. So then, so that's what you say, legacy or story or history. So that's for us, it's like the inspiration, source of inspirations, or like quintessential instructions to get into habit of doing practice. So that's the benefit. That's the benefit. And also you learn, same time you learn, it's not just somebody just made it up, because then Lama Atisha, so then quoting Shantideva quoting Shakyamuni Buddha, those lamas. So there's has history. It's not just 2 years ago somebody just made it up like that. So then how they met, when they met, where they met, so how the teaching happens, this is the part of the Ngunche Tembe Namdaras, or legacy or history or the story of great past master Jinju. Dujin Yamle is the practice for people who are trying to follow their footsteps. For them is the practice, all of them practice how the Buddha Dharma has been practiced, how it's been written, how it's been taught, and who taught, where taught, which place, where, when, who, so then like all of that, yeah. So Tam, who taught you how to carve money mountain? You learn?
I have no idea.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh. So maybe it's previous karma. Yeah. So they're definitely previous karma related to the land of Tibet. So no any other place they carve mantra, money mantra on stone beside, I think. Or could be Mongolia too, could be Mongolia or maybe Tibet. And there's some part of it, like mainland, some part of China too. Then what else? So how much time we have? So
We have about 25 minutes, Geshe-la.
So what we should do, Chugila?
I think there's one more question, Geshe-la.
Yes, there's one more question. When you were speaking about meditation on Tushita, you mentioned 5 aspects of phenomena and wisdom. And so the question is, what are the 5 aspects of phenomena and wisdom?
What?
The question about the 5 aspects of wisdom, understanding all aspects of phenomena. Sorry, that's on the bottom of page of in the book.
How the Chugi? Where is Chugila? Where?
Okay, so we are in day 2, Geshe-la,
Oh,
and it's, I'm trying to figure out, not quite halfway through day 2. It's a little bit before, there's a quotation from the Ornament of Clear Realization, and it's a little bit above that. And the what it says in the book, this is on the bottom of page 34 for people who have the book. Sincerely apply yourself to the sphere of activity such as generosity, which is training in the general activities of a bodhisattva, and to completely non-conceptual concentration and the 5 aspects of wisdom, understanding all aspects of phenomena.
so under the day 2?
Yep. Yeah, day 2, not quite halfway into day 2. That's the right place that you all were wondering about, right? Yeah, okay, good.
So the very bottom of the page is called like quoting the Ornament of Clear Realizations.
Yeah, that's about a paragraph and a half later when Papanka Rinpoche quotes the Ornament of Clear Realization that says, there is nothing whatsoever that should be removed. There is not the slightest bit that should be added. So earlier than that,
Sorry, so now this kind of knowledge is kind of fading away from my library, so disappearing. Jizo Juyu Zundu the Samba Punzo Temple. Jizo Juyu Zundu the Samba Punzo Temple. Samba Punzo Temple. Jizo Juyu Zundu Jizo Juyu Zundu the Samba. Zundu the Shibi Sherab thing is mainly is talking about the practice of, six perfections, practice of six perfections, which is like, even though there are like thousands of different, different types of bodhisattva did, when you summarize into six perfections. So that ornament of clear realizations, ornament of clear realizations, you're talking about bodhicitta. So then, the first word, semje pada dangan tangos. There's like 10 like 10 points. There's 10 points been mentioned in that section of the ornament of clear realization by Maitreya Buddha, and which has this 10 point is like help you to understand omniscient mind, help you to understand omniscient mind. So so the first one is bodhicitta. So then here, what is the questions? 5?
What are the 5 aspects of wisdom, understanding all aspects of phenomena?
Shibi Sherab Tamamas. Sure. So. Could be, I'm not 100% sure, could be a great wisdom, great wisdom, clear wisdom, spontaneous wisdom, the very quick wisdom or spontaneous wisdom, profound wisdom. So then wisdom by probably hearing or listening or studying, or then there's the one thinking, another one meditating. The 3 probably can be count 1. Could be 5 of those, could be. And could be those are the 5 of wisdom. So Shibi Sherab Tang Nam Nas. Tamanyin the loso tempe, Tebachimbe, Yatamja, Jinjo Karubi Duba Sheba, the Shilasu Lam to Zoo, some Lam Duba straight to the ship, Chid, Sumba Yimba Dona, Teso Yunga la Kepe, Teso Yunga la Kepe, Tabachimbe Lamchi, Ching Tenso, Chi, Tuja, Nam, Ombo Jeduzo Songa. So Anna, Chuoda, Zongabasu, Lamjada. Yeah, so not sure, but not sure. Could be that, and maybe I'll find out. I know exactly where to find but it's kind of like, I'm not teaching here, debate text here, so then slowly going to vacations, all the most of the knowledge through debate, saying back and forth, kind of like, taking long time vacations. Took like 20-year vacations. So still taking vacation. But fortunately, know exactly where to find. So it's not that difficult, I can find. Then what else?
I don't have any other questions in the chat, Geshe, unless someone has one they want to just ask you directly.
Or maybe, so you only have time to read 9 pages? Oh, so then maybe Chukila, if nobody has any questions, please read a little more. So far, how many pages we read altogether? Or read means not just read, study.
We're on page 43, Geshe.
Okay, so then please read continues and then, yeah. So where you going to read, from where? So then I can look at it.
His activities in Tibet.
Huh?
His Lama Tisha's activities in Tibet.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
Almost at the end of day 2.
Oh.
We're just before the story on Lama Yeshe.
Lama Yeshe. So that you already read that Lama Tsongkhapa went to Indonesia? You already read that?
Yes.
Yeah, so then to sin. Okay, that's good. Now please read Purity,
His activities in Tibet.
Oh.
At first, Atisha didn't come to Tibet. The Dharma had first come to Tibet during the reign of Totori Nyensen of the royal heritage and Sonsen Gampo, who worked to establish the Dharma, while Shantarikshita Padmasambhava and King Chitson Detsun caused it to spread. At one point, even that initial spread of the Dharma began to decline, with Majur serving alcohol and Pajer arriving with the book of Tantra.
So this 3 figure is like frequently been painted in like, maybe in the future, near future, if you go to Dharamsala, in the main temple in Dharamsala, you see these 3 figures commonly, whether you visit the Tibetan library, Tibetan parliament, or the main temple in Dharamsala, so you can see that even in the temple, you can see these 3, the king and the Padmasambhava, and there's like Shantarakshita, Kenji Shiwatsu. This painting is commonly, you can see. So,
At one point, even the initial spread of the Dharma began to decline, and Majur serving alcohol and Pajer arriving with the book of Tantra, saying he had composed it, initiating many false tantras and commentaries. Langdharma's destruction of the teachings.
So who is reading? Hamula reading?
Yes, sir.
Hamula, please little bit slowly.
I'm sorry.
No. So little bit, maybe people that so see, that's how the Tantra teaching has been. That's one of the cause degeneration of Tantra teaching back in India. Well, that's one of the cause. Okay, so just keep it in mind. So ignorance of Tantra teachings, ignorance, not knowing how the Tantra teachings been practiced, not knowing. So then, instead of being the cause to spread the Dharma, it becomes the cause for degeneration of the Buddha Dharma. So that's what happened. That's one thing, one cause, one of the main cause of degeneration of Tantra teaching back in India.
Dharma's destruction of the teachings, as well as his destruction of even the most subtle signs of ordination, continued for nearly 70 years.
The long Dharma, that's like that. The long Dharma was king in Tibet. So it's kind of like evil king that ruled Tibet. I'm not sure. I'm not very good at history, but I hear something here, something there. So you remember when Tibetan people see someone, they just go like this. So that kind of like behavior was started in Lang Dharma's era in Tibet. And then, they also kind of stick their tongue out of their mouth like that. So now people think, oh, that's like how Tibetan people show respect. Actually, that's not how it happens. It's not like that. At the same time, you stick out your tongue like that. So yeah, it's still some part of Tibet. Some part of Tibet people does that. I don't think now the probably still does that. So does that. That's not like, and people think, oh, that's like how Tibetan people show respect. That's not how it happened. So if you are practicing black magic, and there will be a sign on your tongue, below your tongue, there will be a sign people can see. People can see that you are practicing black magic. So Lang Dharma, that king, I'm not sure there's how true that, but Lang Dharma, according to the history, people believe that Lang Dharma has horn on his head. So that's why he always keep his hair. He hardly, like I say, untie his hair. He always keep. Not sure. There's maybe like in all time. There's the head like all knot up like that. Like. So what are you trying to do? Is when you're trying to visit some important person, you are sticking your tongue. They're saying that you are not practicing black magic. You're scratching your head, then you are like you are showing that you don't have home. So that's how it happens. It's not like how the Tibetan people show respect. That's how exactly what happens. You can't go to see important people if you don't do that. So you have to kind of prove. So now then, people not knowing, there's certain things even in this country too. Knock on the wood, how that happens. Everybody does that. And how many people know the history? Knock on the wood means good luck. Like, so how many people know that why is good luck? Not why it's not here, why it's there. And some people, like sprinkling the salt. That happened based on reason, but very little people know the reason, and everybody does same thing. But very little people has knowledge about the same thing, going like this, sticking your tongue. And people they think, oh, that's form of Tibetan people. We have shown respect. No, that's not how it happened. What I said, that's exactly how it happened. To prove that you are not evil person, you are qualified to visit important person, that you don't practice black magic, you don't have home, like that. So then that's what happened. Okay, that's Lang Dharma. So there was evil king, so almost destroyed Buddha Dharma, completely wiped out. From the Tibet, almost wiped out. But some ordinary people managed to escape. So that's why they're still offering vow is still happening. Otherwise, if the last monk been executed, it's finished. The lineage is then completely finished. So that is well, just a reference. So it's not that important for your day-to-day life practice, but it's just a reference, just to know. Every knowledge is good. Next time when you say long time, you have some ideas. Yeah.
Long Dharma's destruction of the teachings, as well as his destruction of even the most subtle signs of ordination, continued for nearly 70 years, after which the great Lama, Gongpa Rapsa from Tsang, and the two Indian bhikshus, Yoge Chung and Ma Shakyamuni, worked to spread the Vinaya and the lower regions of Tibet.
So see, now that's when you see the Tibetan, like, especially like Tibetan ritual dance, it's not like modern dance, like that loud music, not like that, Tibetan ritual dance. In the lower part of the body, they wear like certain like some kind of like cloth, brocade. It has a face, scary face. Of course, eventually Lang Dharma was eliminated by that. Halung Peji Doji, that's the name of the person who eventually managed to. Probably actually it's like assassinations, so whether you use a good word or not, the bottom line is that Lang Dharma was assassinated by that's Halung Peji Doji. Yeah, I think the larger Gombar, that's two different things. So then he was assassinated by one of the, because like it's causing so much destructions, and like all the subjects are not happy, and he's not ruling the kingdom based on ethics and moralities, and then eventually Halung Peji Doji came with this custom, huge like hat. There's something on there, so then all brocade, the bottom there's like scary face, then bow and arrow. So nowadays, that person was very much part of the ritual dance in monastery, not in the biggest monastery like Sera Devun Gandhi, you don't do this dance, ritual dance not for entertainment purpose. In small monastery, every year they have occasions, they do all these dances. Then all the local people came to the monastery they get so excited because there's different kind of costumes. Sometimes there's deer dance, the skeleton dance, like symbolize the symmetries, kind of impermanent. Every dance has meaning behind it. It's not for whether you understand the meaning behind it. It's all colorful dance. The lay people, local people, they are very excited to come there, and partially they are thinking it's like blessing and partially kind of entertainment. But the biggest monastery, they don't do that. They don't. But small monastery, they don't. So that part of this Halung Peji Doji, person who assassinated Lang Dharma, was very much part of that practice. So then also, all this dance has deep meaning behind them, and trying to present the teachings in the form of dance. Like four people, it's not shortage of people, there's four, there's a meaning behind the number, then there's four, then there's like two, then there's a one, there's a six. Each has meaning to the dance. Okay, so, so that was very much, next time when you see the huge hat, black hat, in front there's like a mask like on the fabric. So that's the one who probably assassinated Lang Dharma.
The Vinaya spread once again in the upper regions from the three border regions of Pala and so forth. After a while, the Indian pandits, blue skirt and red acharya, as well as pandits searching for gold, spread the path of liberation through sexual union, the path of attachment, and so on, causing the teachings to deteriorate. At that time, Tibetan king Lalama Yeshe circa 959 to 1040, and his nephew and successor Lotsun Janchuber.
There's like all the credit, so convenient for the. Yeah, actually, the Lama Yeshiva it cost his life to invite Lama Atisha to Tibet, so he sacrificed his life to establish Buddha Dharma back in Tibet, and all the credit. Buddha Dharma in Tibet goes to him, so he sacrificed his life to reestablish Buddha Dharma, which was very much deteriorated by Langtama era. So then after that, everybody was confused, practicing Tantra, they are saying, practicing Sutra is, Tantra and Sutra, they are contradictions, all kind of rumors, all kind of ignorance. Once upon a time, the Buddha Dharma was flourishing in Tibet and very much deteriorated by it. So the Lama Yeshiva, so the king, sacrificed his life in order to bring Lama Atisha, so that we all need to remember his kindness. Without his kindness, there's not any Buddha Dharma coming from Tibet or Tibetan people. So that's ultimately credit go to Lama Yeshiva. So that's what I mean. Like when you read, so you remember how much they sacrifice you to read Dharma. Now you can read. You don't have to sacrifice your life. You can read. They put up so much to bring that pure Dharma, Buddha Dharma, establish qualified teacher back in Tibet, establish Buddha Dharma, so eliminate all the mistakes, misunderstanding of Dharma, Buddha's teachings. No credit go to Lama Yeshiva. Okay, pass away in prison, cost his life to bring Lama Atisha. So need to remember the kindness.
Dispatched 21 youths of sharp intelligence, such as the future Lotsawa Rinchen Zangpo, 958 to 1055, to train in the Dharma in India. Having forsaken body, life, gold, and so on, they invited Atisha to Tibet, explaining the unbearable difficulties they had endured. Lama Yeshe even gave up his life for the welfare of the Buddha's teachings and passed beyond sorrow in prison. With respect to you and me, forget about forsaking our lives in that way. We cannot even fathom the idea of giving away the worst parts of our barley for the sake of the teachings.
So in this country, you talk about founding father, quite often during the election season, founding father, this founding father, there, so Lama Yeshiva is the founding father of the Buddha Dharma in Tibet. Then
Lotsun Jangchuber gave Nakso.
When time is over, you need to say. Yeah.
Gave Nakso Lotsawa Chultrim Gyalwa.
Lotsawa means interpreter. Someone who translates teaching from. So these are there's 21 sharp-minded people. Lama Yeshiva sent it to India to study Sanskrit, hoping they can translate Buddha's teaching from Sanskrit, directly from Sanskrit into Tibetan. So that's what happened. There's few great, you say, translator or like that. This term, lots of means translator.
A golden hunting weapon and 700 song of gold, as well as 4 assistants. He advised Nakso to offer once again the 700 song of gold to Atisha in India, while again extending an invitation to Atisha, and instructed Nagso on exactly how he should most politely greet Atisha.
So this text was, I think, your idea to me to teach. So then don't think, oh, why Geshe is teaching about this text. It's your idea. It's like, why we are reading this? I did that, so anyway, so you will get benefit. You have, I think it's good to know. So you have some, how the Buddha Dharma take place in Tibet. I think it's good to know because you are practicing Buddha Dharma that was established in Tibet. Okay.
Atisha asked his personal deity whether or not going to Tibet would benefit living beings and so on.
What is it? Can you repeat, Lamrim, please?
Atisha asked his personal deity.
Oh, the personal deity, that's Tara. That's no different than Tara. There is Tara, Mother Tara. No?
Whether or not going to Tibet would benefit living beings and so on, and was finally received in Upper Ngari in western Tibet, after which he composed the lamp for the path, and it was as though the sun of the teachings was shining at last on the land of the snows.
Oh, so day 2 is finished. Time is over?
And time is over, Geshe, so very good timing.
Oh, yeah.
Geshe,
Yeah.
in class 3 weeks ago, you had been talking about the difference between Tantra and Sutra. You know, someone had asked the question about that.
Oh, yeah.
And you had asked me to find a translation of those terms. I wondered if now would be a good time to share that.
Yes, please.
It will only take one moment.
Okay, very good.
So the 4 purities. So the first one is the complete purity of body, which is seeing one's body as the body of the deity.
Very good.
The second is the complete purity of environment, seeing one's environment as the pure land or mandala of the deity.
Oh, very good.
3 is the complete purity of resources, perceiving one's enjoyments as bliss of the deity, free from attachment.
Oh,
And the last is the complete purity of activities, performing one's actions only for the benefit of others.
so yeah, very good. So these are the 4 things that differentiate what is Tantra teaching, what is not Tantra teaching. Sutra teaching does not have this. What do you call Chukila 4?
The 4 purities.
Yeah, the Sutra teaching there's no, this 4 purity practice does not exist in the Sutra teachings. It only exists in Tantra practice. That's why whenever you distinguish between Tantra teaching and Sutra teaching, that's how you distinguish. You say, oh, this 4 purity practice, there's 4 purity practice involved, so their teaching is Tantra teachings. The 4 purity practice does not involve or include in that practice, that is Sutrayana teachings, okay? For the sake of knowledge. I think the Tham is the one who asked the question, I think, so very good. Okay, thank you very much, all of you. So continue this reading this. I'm sure that you'll learn a great deal of history, how the very teaching now is benefiting you, how that teaching took place in Tibet, and who sacrificed how much, and who teach, and who follow, all of that. You learn a great deal of that. So even though it sounds like some part, sounds like reading like somebody's history or legacy, as I said, history or legacy or story of the great past great master for you is source of inspirations and source of gratitude, appreciations, source of inspirations, and quintessential instruction for your own practice. Oh, okay, so then it's good. Oh yeah, thank you very much. So then Venerable Hamu, so maybe please dedications. After this stanza, you read the dedications that you usually normally do. So you read that. And instead of saying I, you say we, okay?
I was going to chant it in Tibetan.
Oh, doesn't matter whatever you decide. Chanting master decide. Chanting master has right to.
Evadi Duda Lama Sangye Rugyune Rowa Chikamalupa Dei Salage Pasho Janchu Sencha Rinpoche Make Panam Ke Gyuchik Ke Wanyampa Me Payang Gone Gundu Pawasho Yampe Power Jita Kempadang Kudu Zampo Deyan Deshinte Deda Kungi Jesu Dalochu Kewa Dida Tanche Raptung Dusun shepe gewa tanche ki ngawa ganla chotu ngapade dashe gewe zawadi kunkyang sampo chuchu raptu ngawagi yagi jine sape gewa di tendando wa kunla gampedang kepa jetsun lo santa pai tempe nimpo rindu selje sho Kandira we korwe shinkam dir, pendan dewa malu shungwene, chere zikwan tenzing yatsui, shape site bardu tengu chi. Jonu ien ala wang shotu, awa tare tsembara sopa, losange we deton lek pelshu, shasun gengula maso ade. Tu tsu chan jin jang gen ge wei ten xin ke pe wei kun zi do po zhe chok sum ku wei le mun tu du pa dok so du she gen du shap ten shok Mig me tse we te chen chen re sik ri me kem pe wang po jam pe yang gan chen ke pe su gen song ka pa Lo sang da pe shabla so ade. Tare tu re so ha. 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 Tare tu re so ha.
Oh yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, so then have a wonderful night. So see you next Wednesday, okay?
Thank you, Geshe.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
Thank you, Geshe-la. Good night.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
Good night.
Good night.
Geshe-la.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you, Geshe.